Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith, and welcome to my review of Little Women. Had the opportunity of seeing this the other day, and the first thing I can tell you is, I don't think I'm the target market for this movie. I say that for the simple reason that when I walked into the theater, that was about 95% women, and I was walking to my seat, I legit heard a woman turn to, I assume, her boyfriend or husband and say, "Hey, honey, I told you you weren't going to be the only guy here." Comforting for him, I suppose. I respect that I'm not the target market, but I also respect the history of this book. This is a book that I think has been on must-reading lists for so many people for so many years, and there were a lot of people who were excited about coming out to see this film. Now, there's been a lot of variations and versions of Little Women. I think this is like the 7th or so time they've brought this to the big screen. So if you haven't caught any of the other ones, here's a new one for you. Directed by Greta Gerwig, who also did the screenplay. Of course, many people remember her from Lady Bird fame. She's re-teamed with her star from Lady Bird, Saoirse Ronan, as the lead in this. And it's a strong cast. You also got Florence Pugh and Emma Watson, Timothée Chalamet, Laura Dern, Better Call Saul's Bob Odenkirk. It's a strong cast. Now, Louisa May Alcott has written this timeless book that has been passed on from generations to generations, and so many people love it. Now, as I said at the outset, I'm not the target market, but one of the things that I like to do is kind of gauge audience reaction. And the female-led audience that I was part of seemed to really enjoy this film. I have to say there were things about this film that I really enjoyed. I thought the cinematography was great. I think the costume design was fantastic. I think the roles were played very strongly as the multiple actresses that I mentioned, of course, taking on the role of the March sisters. There are certain things about it that I looked at and were, to me, I was kind of like shaking my head on in terms of like some of the choices that some of the characters made. But again, I will kind of like bow to the majority of the board on this one. Is it the type of movie that I would want to go back and see again? Probably not. I found it entertaining, and there were a lot of things about it that I liked. But I also come from the point of view of you have to, when I'm reviewing a film, I also have to respect that there are different films that are made for different target markets. And I think if you're a lover of this book, which respectfully I am not, then you are going to really enjoy this film. But then there are times where I see something that might not be made for me, like a Captain Underpants, and I go and I see it and I'm like, okay, I'm here to review it. And then I leave and I'm like, cha-la-la-la-la-ing all over the place because I really enjoyed it. Didn't get that with Little Women. But I will say, I mean, there are a couple of things about this film as I'm watching it that really impressed me. Like Florence Pugh has had such a phenomenal year with fighting with my family in the role where she played the wrestler Paige, and as she was embarking on a wrestling career, to the best horror / breakup film of the year, Midsommar, into Little Women. And then don't even get me started on Emma Watson. After 8 Harry Potter films, you thought, okay, well, maybe she's going to be typecast. But no, with phenomenal films like The Bling Ring and Perks of Being a Wallflower and Colonia, just to name a few. I mean, her star just continues to rise. There were a lot of good performances in this film. I enjoyed it. I think if you enjoyed the book, you'll probably enjoy the film as well. I give it a B. I thought it was good. Again, not necessarily my type of film, but for what it was, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. If you get the chance to see Little Women and you have absolutely nobody else to talk about it with, feel free to reach out to me and let me know what you think. CFL_fan on Twitter, Facebook.com/WittyWhittier and WittyWhittier.com. Thanks so much for checking this out. My name is Keith, and I'll see you at the movies.